Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we are about to begin our lecture series today, and I just want to say Ahlan wa Sahlan and welcome everybody to another lecture series on the Facebook Live. I'm so happy that you guys can join me today. So what is the topic today? Today's topic is going to be the key to getting employed, hard skills vs soft skills, which we'll be going to discuss to understand how great the ability and soft skills. I found this topic is great and to start our GSE class. So many general specific points before we go deeper throughout the semester. You know, also like as a students where we always find the ways how to develop ourselves so that when we graduate, we'll be somebody new comparing to ourselves on the first day of the graduation. Today's lecture is exactly what we did. And I'm so pleased to introduce you to our prominent speaker, Professor, Engineer, Technologist, Dr. Zainuddin Manan, Vice Chancellor, Academic and International, who has been serving UTM for 30 years, since 1990. With that being said, he works with a local and international quadruplet stakeholder in leading, developing, and managing people and program development, partnership, and collaboration. And the list goes on. That means he knows all the secrets and to get employed. So without further ado, I'm going to start the majlis with Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد. Okay, before we begin, I would like to remind you that this session will be interactive. Prof Zain will have some quizzes, activities with you, and also like you to have all your eyes on the screen and grab the take-home message. Use summary and apply where necessary. And you are also more than welcome to drop some ideas, questions on Facebook comments because we are all on this learning together. Now I welcome Prof Zain. The mic is all yours.
Thank you very much. Before I start, are you able to hear me, Dr. Nurwina, moderator?
Yes, we are.
Are you able? Okay, great, super. I'm just right. Just to ask, is my slide clear? Is my slide appearing okay?
Yes.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Okay, we can see that.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahil Karim wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Respected moderator Dr. Nurwina, staff of UTM, fellow lecturers of the Graduate Success Attributes course and students of UTM. Good day. I wouldn't say good morning because I think many UTM students are following perhaps from everywhere across the world. I wouldn't know, maybe you are early in the morning somewhere else, very early, before even Fajar. And many of you, I believe, is in Malaysia or Southeast Asia. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Today, I'm very pleased to be able to have the opportunity to share experiences in my many years of working in UTM to look at how we can improve and how we can groom our students to have among the most highly sought after graduate attributes for you to face the real world out there. Before I begin straight to my lecture today, I would like to have a brief reality check for students. Perhaps this is a perspective of yourself as well as your parents, what you wish to be when you go to a higher institution like UTM. I would like to request for organizer to copy the poll EV poll so that students can click the poll EV and respond to my question, which I'm going to show in a moment. If you are all ready, what is your wish for of higher education? So you can start responding now. Yeah, if you think that your wish of going to higher education, either your wish or your parents' wish, yeah, for you to go to higher education is because one of these things. Everything might be a good answer to you. We just want to know how many is responding to any one of those questions, and how many of you is in the category of A, B, C, and D. So all of them might be a good answer from your perspective. So don't worry about getting other persons getting it correct or you getting it correct. Everything is an acceptable answer. Great. So 100% so far. Get a good job. No one is responding to other answers at all. Oh, be a good citizen. Okay. We won't be able to know how many has responded, Dr. Norwina. Perhaps not. Number. Okay, they even say good grades. Yeah. Be a good citizen. None of the above. Maybe you have your own perspective, but it seems like an overwhelming majority says that basically you go to higher education to get a good job. That is an overwhelming majority. Overwhelming majority, which to me is kind of expected. Kind of expected that many of us would be responding to this. Why? Well, like I said from the beginning, reasons to join higher education, to study in higher education, but your most, the biggest goal you have in life is actually, for example, get a good grades, or because you want to join a reputable university. But of course, it's a mix of getting a good job or study at a reputable university. But it seems like overwhelming majority is in a category of C. This is kind of expected to me. When I wrote this article at the ICAME on 29 October 2020, this article was published in the UK and across networks of UK linked universities across the world. The article is entitled Gainful Employment by Design. Basically, I was saying that among the metrics that is used to rate universities, there are many things that rate university being highly ranked in the world because of publications, because of academic reputations, and because of many other factors, because of their work with community. But the thing is, from my perspective and from my study and from, as you can see, the responses that we have here, the overwhelming majority regard that graduate employability, which is defined as graduate being employed, not just being employed, but becoming entrepreneurial within a period of graduation. It varies from one institution to another, but most institutions in Malaysia would take 6 months to 1 year. As a bottom line indicator of a university impact on community. So basically, parents or stakeholders would ask, you have such a great program, reputable university, highly ranked researchers, reputable researchers, prominent researchers, but I just want to ask you one thing. Is this program that you're offering can guarantee my child to get a job? Yeah, that is typically the questions that's being asked. In fact, at the national level, at the country level, Yeah, this is one of the indicators that influences the economy of a nation, and in fact, it is actually making the nation successful, because because graduates of higher institution typically are white collar workers. White collar workers are drivers of businesses and enterprises and corporations and institutions. They are basically key people in the institutions. So high white collar unemployment could actually disrupt nation's growth and disrupt business productivities, and may eventually lead to economic slowdown and recession. This is the reason why most people would regard that graduate employability as one of the most important indicator, even higher than university ranking, or even higher than other factors, other metrics that's being used, for example, impact the community and so on, because graduate employability is actually part of the impact on community, impact a university has on a community. So it is a bottom line indicator of a university's impact, as for the reason that I've mentioned earlier. So now this lecture is about graduate success attributes, the key to getting our students employed. The title that's been given to me start with hard skill versus soft skill. So which one are we going to go for, really? So this is the questions that I believe would students or all the audiences will have in their mind. Hard skill versus soft skills. What do you mean, hard and versus soft? What are the difference between the two? Yeah, so basically, I'll just give it to you now. The hard skills, typically, either you have it or you don't. Yeah, if, for example, you are a civil engineering major and employers are looking for civil and structural engineer, they won't for sure be looking for chemical engineer, because chemical engineer doesn't have that hard skills that they're looking for. So these are the hard skills, like for example, that's given here. Computer programming, either you know it or you don't know it. Yeah, C programming, either you know it or you don't know it. How you type, the speed of your typing, for example, is either you have learned about it or not learned about it, or you are very slow about typing. Or certain machinery operations, for example, how do you operate a pump? Either you know it or you don't know it. Okay, so these are skills that is learnable and teachable, and is easy to quantify, because typically if you have these hard skills, those who teach you, or the courses that you go through with these hard skills would normally issue you certificate or a degree, so you will have these hard skills, very clearly shown that you have this proficiency or skills. For example, also is a proficiency in Chinese, for example, or Mandarin, speaking Mandarin, or Japanese language. So if you have a certificate, you will have that hard skill. You have a testimony of that hard skill. You don't, then you do not know that hard skill. On the other hand, you also have soft skill, or normally called people skills or interpersonal skills. This includes communications, leadership, adaptability, global citizenship. Many of these will be touched upon in my lecture, will be covered in my lecture. Soft skills are basically transferable skills. Yeah, they are basically used across industry. Even if you are a chemical engineer, process engineer, or social science major, if you have these skills, you can hop from one job to another. And if you are great at any of these skills, you can actually survive basically different types of disciplines. Soft skills are typically more difficult to master as compared to hard skills. They normally will be mastered over a period of time. You can basically cover them through over a period of time through experiences. And basically, soft skills will allow you. They say that hard skill will allow you to get an interview, and soft skill will be the difference between you getting a job or not getting a job. For example, during an interview, you go to an interview because you have a resume, but it will be very difficult to prove or to show to have a testimony that you have certain soft skill like time management or team working, communication skill, unless you go for the interview. And during the interview, typically, the interviewer will decide whether or not you are the materials for them to hire. Through the hard skills will allow you to get to the interview, but the soft skill will allow you to get the job and stay in the job for a while. So I hope these two are very, very clear between the distinction between hard skills and soft skills. So now, another poll EV question: which is more important between hard skill and soft skill? Sorry, it doesn't. Okay. So if you are a graduate, if you are students of UTM, what would you think will be among your priority, because you think that they are important? Okay. I can see an overwhelming majority responded both. Maybe you have heard about whatever you answer, what you respond, you will be convinced later when we go through this lecture this morning, when I complete, hopefully, this lecture this morning. You will see that many employers typically will be looking for either T-shaped graduates or H-shaped graduates. H-shaped graduates, H, the letter H is Hungary. The T-shaped graduate is Tanzania-shaped graduate. So basically, the shape tells you a lot about whether it is hard skill or soft skill. Okay. Many employers these days looks for either T-shaped graduate or H-shaped graduate. H-shaped graduate is the Hungary type graduate. So basically, when you have T-shaped graduate, it means that you have the broad skill, broad transferable skill. The T is at the top. Yeah, the T, the top of the T is actually the broad-based skill, and then there is also the trunk of the T. The trunk of the T, basically, that is the skills, the hard skills. For example, the certificate that you have, the deep knowledge that you have, the specialist knowledge that you have in certain area or certain discipline, that can be proven through your certificate and through your college degree. So you have a broad base or transferable skill, as well as the deep or specialist skill. So the hard skill and soft skill are there for you. Maybe you say hard skill is more important, but you will see that if you have both, you stand an advantage as compared to those who doesn't have both skills. Yeah, typically. What about H skill? This hard skill, the H skills. Yeah, H as in hard. Yeah, basically the H type of graduates is actually those who have two specializations, maybe one degree. Yeah, that goes with a certificate of mechanical engineering certificate is a degree, and the other one is actually certification health and safety officer. It's also a certificate. Both are hard skills, but in between them, the broad base that connects the two trunk of the H, basically you have transferable skill that you need to communicate, or you need to show, or you need to demonstrate during the time that you go for interview and during the time that you perform in your organization, yeah, if you are hired. So basically, if you have more than one types of skill, typically you stand a better chance as compared to other graduates. Okay, I hope this is clear to everybody. So now we have done the reality check. Now we are going to go for the next topic, yeah, the attributes of highly successful UTM graduates. Yeah? Let's see what are the attributes of highly successful UTM graduates. I'll be covering, you will see, the two types of skill that I mentioned earlier, which is the soft skill as well as the hard skills. Okay, and I will also show to you, walk you through GSA graduate success attribute from the rank of number 7 to number 1. There are 7 UTM graduate success attributes, as you will see, and we will tell you why they're important. I will start from number 7, like a ranking of top 20 songs this week. At number 7 is skill number what? Okay, then I will go through one by one and show to you the global and local scenario, why these skills are very important in the 21st century in creating 21st century graduates, in addressing the grand challenges of 21st century. Okay, so our aspiration of UTM graduates, if you understood why most people think that the bottom line indicator of higher education impact is actually graduate employability, this is the reason why I wrote in the New Straits Times last year during COVID-19, in the midst of COVID-19, towards zero graduate unemployment. So basically this title is perhaps for some, it might be quite eye-popping because people wouldn't imagine that we have zero graduate unemployment, but I did put towards zero graduate unemployment. I did not say it's absolute, but we are approaching. At UTM, we are designing our program to approach or to move towards zero graduate unemployment. So, wow, is it really the case that you are doing that? And as a start, for starters, how actually you have done in terms of approaching towards zero graduate unemployment? I get the question a lot. So our management also gets this question a lot. Let us show you during the time of just before COVID-19, we reached the highest graduate employability in UTM history in 2019, where the graduate employability for undergraduate students was 95.15. In the previous years, it was about it's roaming around 80%, 80-something%. And postgraduate unemployment was a lot higher on statistics at the KPT statistics. Graduate employability for postgraduate prior to 2019 was around 70-something% or 60-something%. We thought that that was not the real picture of UTM graduates, so we went on a very intensive campaign. We call it Ops GE 2020. Operation Ops GE 95%. We targeted 2020, basically end of 2019. We started the employability campaign and went on and unleashed a very intensive campaign of getting graduate about 95% employable. Many people, many of even our staff thought that that was a near impossibility if you were to move from 80% to 95%. But to make the long story short, we managed to reach 95.15% in 2019 of UTM graduate employability. And there was a significant quantum leap of graduate employability for postgraduate as well. And here are the staircases where we basically worked upon and operated on, or made that operation of successful graduate employability campaign in 2020, early 2020, to get the 2019 census of 95.15%. And as a result, it also skyrocketed the GE employability ranking when it was around 70 to 80% before 2019. The GE for QS, graduate employability rankings, shoot up a great deal. This is vital. This is actually vital for employers to know, employers to hire UTM graduate, because to the employer's perspective as well, the bottom line indicator is actually, can the graduate perform and can they get a job? So that is the average between postgraduate and undergraduate. So, but after that, we came across some challenges. Of course, COVID-19 began in February of 2020, we know, and there were a lot of challenges, and we know that we anticipate that we are not going to do very well during the time of 2020. You know that the graduate employability is going to be evaluated year after, or 6 months after the year of the student graduation. 6 months after that means in this year, 2021, we will be looking at graduate employability of 2020. We thought that it will be, many of us thought that it will be a free fall, not just within UTM, but across the world. Can you guess who they are here? You guessed it right. So we thought that many students might be joining the queue. It will be a long queue for you to essentially get a job and work day and nights to get to land yourself a job. And it will be a big or major worry to the parents as well and to stakeholders for higher education graduates. COVID-19 has done a lot of damage, has wreaked havoc across the world, and it's not just costing life, but it's also disrupting businesses and threatening livelihoods of people, because of many businesses, the traditional businesses, even very, very successful businesses like airline business, transportation business, tourism, hotel industry, food, restaurants. Of course, restaurants, especially those who are bigger restaurants, medium and bigger restaurants, they are surviving from the food panda as well as food delivery. But the smaller restaurants are not doing too well. The smaller hawkers, are not doing, not surviving, and among the casualties of this COVID-19 havoc. So as a result, 1.6 billion people, which is about a quarter, nearly a quarter of people risk losing their jobs during the period of 2020 and 2021, which is about half of the global workforce is risk losing their livelihoods. In fact, you are not spared either out there. 75,000 graduates struggle to find a job due to COVID-19, and a total of 120,000, about 120,000 will need to find a job from 2019 and 2020. In 2019, there are still close to about 40,000, 45,000 grads did not get a job. When we get our graduates to have about 95% graduate get the job, but there's still about 45,000 graduates that did not get a job. In 2020 and 2021, we expected more. From 2019 and 2020, basically there will be around 120 to 130,000 graduates will be struggling to find jobs due to COVID-19 crisis. So that is why we continue the Rising Above COVID Challenges for Graduate Employability campaign in 2020 and 2021, which is currently. It means that we continued but double up our effort because we expected a worse situation, much worse situation than we were dealing with in 2020, early 2020, to mobilize our graduates to get a job. In 2019, we reached 95% graduate employability, but we did not know that we are going to reach even 90% or 80-something percent. So we agreed with the university, during the time of Dato' Wahid. Dato' Wahid, I think, is among the audience, that we might be able to set a more realistic target at 90% graduate employability for 2020. 2020 means during the whole period of COVID-19, okay, and 2021. And basically through the inspiration of our leaders, especially including Dato' Wahid itself, we actually managed to reach above the target that we set. We thought that it was actually basically even a high target at 90%, but we reached 91.50%, and now it's about 92% graduate employability because it keeps increasing. The deadline for us to submit the data was on 28 February, but now it keeps increasing to 92% because the SKPG, Scheme Tracer Study for the graduate, is still open until now. So for you graduates out there, if you have graduated or you are graduating, this is very important for you to participate in this tracer study for reasons that not just for you to record UTM, to help UTM record a high employability status for the graduates and to help them get a job and to help industry also have a positive image of UTM students, but it is also for you, for us to trace you and to work with you to get gainful employment, to secure you gainful employment. As you can see, the I hope my slide is still there. Yeah, okay. As you can see, the graduate employability average for local higher education institution is actually, the average in 2020 is 84.40%. And UTM has gone far above the average. That is the average even for many university, research universities, around 85 to 90%, 85%, 87%. And graduate employability for graduates who are expected to get better opportunity to get job, PVET, practical students, students who do more hands-on work, is only at 87% during COVID-19. So UTM has actually exceeded the expectation, alhamdulillah. So we managed to do far better than we expected for during the period of COVID-19. There is this question that I get a lot. Yeah, are we fixated with GE, graduate employability? What about graduate education itself? What about grooming great graduates so that they become better citizens? How about enculturing the holistic, entrepreneurial, and life-ready graduates, for example? What about all this? Are we completely only fixated with the need to get the graduate employability very high? I will tell you that they come hand in hand. Yeah, but you need something to measure. You cannot actually measure. It's very difficult to measure, as we have impressed upon you. The soft skills are difficult to measure. Skills like trust, skills like responsibility, skills like trustworthiness, skills like time management are difficult to measure. But graduate employability is the outcome of having all these great skills by our students. So we need to, of course, we are needing to inculcate these graduate employability characteristics or graduate attributes for us to get high graduate employability. So it comes hand in hand. It is all about fundamentals to get our graduates 100% employable towards 100% employment. So the big picture aspiration is what we call as our Synergy 5.0 prosper together with our graduates. Let me go through this. I have given this in my address during early in February. This is one of the mission of UTM to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all, which is very much in line with SDG, Sustainable Development Goal number 4. So this is the UTM, what I call as high five story. So the vision, the mission of the Department of Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic and International is to develop holistic talents. The talents are among our students and talents among our people, our educators, through innovative technology to for what purpose? The ultimate goal is to prosper lives of people around us. So what do we do about that? We need to aim to produce our graduates who would prosper life, the life-ready graduates. The first is to get 100% of our graduates connected to us. If they are not traceable, We don't know who out there have graduated, where some of our students have gone to. Even if we are able to trace 95% of our graduate, we won't be able to help the remaining 5%. So we put a target of 100% connectivity to our graduates of UTM. That doesn't mean that 100% are employable when you have 100% connected. But if you are connected to 100% of our graduate, we can strive to make 100% employable. That's what we call toward 100% graduate unemployment. Sorry, towards zero graduate unemployment or 100% graduate employment. Okay? When you are connected 100% to the graduates, it means that you can help the remaining who have not found a job. We will show you as well. Why is it that we are very confident that we are able to help every single one of our graduates, no matter where they are, to find a job or to upskill for them to strive to get better and eventually get themselves again full employment. So the first target is to be 100% connected to our graduate, meaning to say that if you go out there, yeah, once you enter UTM, we call it cradle, gate to grave connection between UTM and our graduates. Once you get to the gate of UTM, then we are going to cater for you and be rest assured that we are going to be connected with you until you leave the world, until you die, until you leave the world, basically. Why? Because we want to, our mission is to prosper the lives of people. Prosper and people, first, of course, our family, but the graduates are all our family as well. The first thing that we will do is actually to educate you so that you will be employable. Yeah, employed. Yeah, at least 95% will be employed. At least it's a high target, but we are moving towards 100% employment for our graduates within 1 year. Okay, so if, for example, the remaining is not employed, when we know the analytics, we know the connector, we know what you are doing now, we know that maybe you are delivering food and so on. Basically, we can tell you, basically, we have organized these courses for you. We have a series of courses to upskill and reskill so that you can be better, you have better skills, hard skills, for you to eventually become employed and finally become gainfully employed. Yeah. Because being employed, not necessarily being employed in a job that will satisfy you. Yeah, a job that satisfies you means that you are already gainfully employed, you are happily employed or satisfactorily employed. So we targeted that upon 6 months graduation, at least 95% would get a job or be employable. After 3 years, you will be 100% would be, after 3 years, at least 30% will be gainfully employed or secure premium income. 30% secure premium income. Premium income means very well employed. Yeah? And after 5 years, you will be prospering life. It means that you have your circle of influence. You are the manager of a company or project manager, or you hold a responsible position in your company. After 5 years, you will be prospering life. Prospering life means you have a circle of influence. You take care of certain people. So basically, these are how we prosper together. And upon you prospering lives, we would like to invite you back to UTM to prosper the life of our students so that we can create this cycle of prospering lives, so that you can be connected to our students and be able to help them the way we help you. Now, we cannot do it alone in UTM. We have to have the help of the community. We have to have the help of the alumni of UTM. What we provide for you and for the students of UTM is actually flexible, work-based, competency-based, skills-based program. So it covers both the hard skills as well as the soft skills. All right, so you will see that even after you graduated, you will be able to come back to UTM and continue educating yourself, upskilling yourself, reskilling yourself. So we provide flexible education in the sense that you will be able to get access to flexible and modular program and certification programs that will be relevant to where you are working. If in the previous years after you have graduated, you become a civil engineer, next you will see that you need some skills, for example, certified health and safety officer. UTM has the expert, certified educator, certified trainer for health and safety program, for example, that will upskill you and allow you to be gainfully employed, allow you to be the manager of your company, allow you to be within 3 to 5 years, have a circle of influence that enable you to help people and prosper lives. So again, this is a cycle of prospering life, and the programs that we are designing is meant to have all these sorts of features. Who are those behind these programs, as well as the nurturer of the graduate, those who groom the graduates? We are preparing educators who are future ready. They themselves are competent and have the mission in mind, the core value driven by the core value of UTM. So basically, remember, we are developing talents. The talents are among the graduates as well as the educators. So we need to train, reskill, and upskill all this with UTM core values. Yeah. And we also need to make sure that we are efficient, digitally driven when we do our programs, and we also basically work with our graduates. So we will not be people dependent. We are also preparing programs that allow you to learn on demand. We will not be too dependent upon the people, because if we are too dependent on people and we want to outreach the whole world, we won't have enough resources. We won't have enough talent to cater for the whole world who needs the education, excuse me, of UTM. So basically, we need to drive digitally driven education so that you can put your modules on demand. Yeah? Basically, your recording, all your asynchronous learning materials in, for example, Thinkific or Udemy or whatever platforms that you have, so that people across the world can access the education in an Uberized way. Just like Uber just looked at use the apps and not the taxi. Uber doesn't have taxi, but we at UTM, we have the recipe, we have the curriculum, we have the program, and this program are designed, developed by our future-ready educators, and we can put in a platform and can be accessible to the whole world in an interactive manner. We need a data-driven analytics for us to improve continuously. We need to have precise feedbacks, basically, and rapid response, and know basically what the customer needs and improve from time to time, gradually and rapidly as well. So basically, these are what I call as the high five of prospering life. To achieve the vision of UTM to be a premier global university providing inclusive access to education. So it's not just fixated about getting graduate being employed. It is the bigger picture of developing talents. So back to the attributes. So what are the attributes of the graduates when we say that we want to produce graduate who will prosper life, or the life-ready graduates? Now let's go through the 7 commandments, 7 UTM-driven attributes of highly successful graduates. Let's see. Can you spot the workers over there? What does this picture tell you? Again, it's about the challenge that graduates have these days to get employed. Because many of the jobs out there, this is relatively older, in fact. There are many IoT types of things that is not even representing the robots. Everything is online, replacing all human workers, all human talents. This happens to be something, the picture happens to be early 2000 or something along that line. Even you already have this, you don't even have human workers around this car assembly line. Okay, so robots as well as the machines has already been replacing human being. So at number 7, okay, number 7 of the graduate attributes among the 7 most important graduate attribute of 21st century, which is UTM graduate attribute, UTM student graduate attributes. At number 7, we are going from 7 to 6 to 5, all the way to 1. So it means that we are going to, these are all the very important skills. You will see that 20 skill of 21st century, but we are at UTM combining and compositing these skills to the top, only the top very most important 7 great skills that UTM graduate, the soft skills that UTM graduate should have. At number 7, it is the thinking skill of complex problem solving. Okay, what entails the thinking skills actually, or complex problem solving? You think about it very, very carefully. If, for example, you work in a company, and your boss asks you to just analyze one assembly line, how many workers are there, and what is the productivity rate of the workers in the assembly line, or productivity rate of the 4 assembly lines, for example. These are just analytical skills. These are just analysis, straight analysis. You are given basically these are the 4 lines that you need to evaluate, and try to make the differences between all these lines. They are straightforward example. But if your boss asks you, we are basically having a downturn, we are losing 20% of our income during COVID-19, and it will give you an open-ended problem to solve. Can you provide us options to turn around the company business so that we can recover the 20% that we lost during the year of 2020? You as an engineer will say, oh, where do I start? This is super complex. Where do I begin? Because you are not giving me which line which line should I evaluate, line 1, line 2, line 3, or line 4 should I evaluate? Because if he gave you the specific problem for you to evaluate and analyze, it will have been an A student for you. You will just do very, very well. It's not a problem for you. But you say that you have to turn around the company business in such a way that we need to recover 20% that the things that we lost in 2020, then you don't know where you even want to start. It means that this is a super complex problem. Why? Because it involves looking at the lines, it involves looking at the manpower, it involves looking at the stakeholders, it involves looking at the supply chain, it involves looking at ideas on how you can turn around, it involves looking at which are the period that most affected. So you involve detailed data analytics and giving solutions. So you have to think systematically and look at the big picture and holistically. These are the typical industrial problems that you are going to come across. These are the thinking skills, the higher order thinking skills that you are expected of, that most importantly, the robot cannot do it for you. You see, if you remember some of the videos that been shared to you through WhatsApp, that Jack Ma was saying that in the future, robots are going to mimic or going to try to compete with human being. One thing that they won't be able to compete with human being about is that attribute of highly successful graduate number 7, thinking skills or complex problem solving skill. So what does it mean to you? Don't just settle for analytical skill, don't just settle for understanding skill, descriptive skill, don't just settle for evaluating skill, settle for the design thinking skills. How do you look at the bigger picture and solve the complex problem with layers and layers of problem solving that you need to address? This is, in fact, number 7. Okay, skill number 7. If I'm going too long, maybe The students can feel free to interrupt. Dr. Norina can mediate. If there are questions, I know that they will be typing the question in the chat box, not just for students, for lecturers as well. So otherwise, we will have a long lecture. Okay? But fortunately in UTM, these are learnable skills, and these are the skills that we have inculcated. One of the most important things that we have aggressively, continuously, and extensively inculcate in our students through research and innovation. Even during your undergraduate, you have research subject. Even during your first year of undergraduate, you also have problem-solving subject. You have service learning subject, service learning courses that would involve engaging with the community where you need to solve real-life problems. Real-life problems are typically open-ended and typically complex. So, don't go for the shortcut and try to copy the assignments of your friends, because if you do that, or try to copy the assignments online, or try to ask people and hire people online to get them to solve you the problem, you can also do it in real life. It means that in real life, when your boss asks you to solve certain problems, you go to the tutorial site and ask them to solve for you. But until when are you going to do that? One day you are going to be captured and being asked from your boss to present and to argue in front of a big audience of 30 managers. At that time, if you were to go to the website, then you won't have time to consult the website. So you need to stand on your feet. You need to be able to think on your feet and to respond. You see? And you need to, from now, to be able to be independent and not to cheat yourself. We know that this is the 21st century. Lives are challenging, especially the online learning are challenging. But then again, challenges are meant for you to be faced head-on, to address the challenge head-on, okay? And not to sweep challenges under the carpet. So research and innovation skill are the things that we equip you with. That is number 7. Well, as if that is not complicated enough, we know that basically these are statistics that you have heard all the time. And you are hearing it more and more often now, that the careers of the future do not exist yet. Okay? And this research is staggering in terms of statistics. 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 haven't even been invented yet. It means that what you're studying now, will not necessarily be the thing that you are working with, you will be working to solve in the future in your jobs. This is not surprising. This is nothing new, because I myself, when I learned about 30 to 40 years ago, or 30 years ago, I'm not that old, by the way, about 30 years ago, I did not know, I've never learned about all this problem of solving problem with simulation that is so complicated, so complex, and developing software, which I'm quite basically heavily involved now. I never learned about that, and solving problem online. I never learned about that as well. Internet was just at the infancy during the time I was learning. Not even is just so far from what it is now. So basically, it means that this happens all the time. That the skill or the jobs in 2030, 85% of the job in 2030 will not have been created now yet. Basically. So one of the vital skills of the 21st century, at number 6, is actually the scholarship of learning or lifelong learning. It means that you need to learn on your own. You don't actually need all your life, only during the time that you're studying in UTM, you need people to guide you. After you graduated from UTM, or even now in UTM, when you do research, you are doing a lot of autonomous learning on your own. You need to be curious. You need to build a curious and inquisitive mind. You need to have a discipline of doing research. The discipline of doing research, because when we talk about or we refer to autonomous learning, it is actually doing research. If you do research, often there are many methodology that no one has taught you before. You have to learn it on your own. You have to pick it up, and you have to try to discipline yourself into going through the stepwise procedure to master the technique of optimization, for example, until you are able to apply and use it in different situations. So these are very vital, lifelong learning skills, because once you picked up the curious and inquisitive mind, you will be able to survive no matter what the jobs in the future looks like. You will be the one to shape the job even. You are not the one to learn or chase people or chase technology. You are the one to be shaping the technology. So Albert Einstein once said that you have to be learning all the time. Once you stop learning, you will start dying. Okay? So number 6, UTM says that you have to be a voracious learner. Voracious means a super hungry learner. Super hungry learner means super inquisitive, super curious. So you have to grab every opportunity to learn through our institutions like iLeague, UTM-CC, UTM Excite, where they will always be there to guide you, but ensure that you learn autonomously. When you learn on demand, during the time of COVID-19, there is a blessing in disguise that most of the learning you do, or you do a lot more learning the flipped way. So being life ready is about mastering the flip learning. Flip learning means many times you have to learn on your own when you cannot go to class. For example, during COVID-19, because you are very much away from UTM, away from Malaysia, and you are not getting good reception from where you are learning. You have internet issues, but then again, after you come back to UTM, you are able to learn from the video recording of your lecturers, because the lecturers has unfortunately proceeded without 2 or 3 of us, and promise you that they will deliver basically good video online on demand. Now you have to learn on your own. You have to learn and try to pick up where you left. You have to catch up with the class. But this is about life. When you learn in industry later on, when the boss asks you to come up with a solution to turn around the company, basically one of the solution requires you to do business analytics, business intelligence analytics about the data of the company. You have never learned about BIA software, business intelligence analytics software. Then you have to flip learn. Nobody is coaching you there. You don't even have time, because the boss say we need it within 2 weeks. You cannot go to class. It's just too short. Then you have to learn day and night. You have to flip learn. So the more flip learning you do during COVID-19, there is a blessing in disguise. When this is when you are super hungry, you don't have any choice. You have to be voracious. You have to be super hungry. You have to learn, and you have to solve the problem. Not just learning, but apply and solve the problem. So basically, at number 6, it is vital for you to address the challenge of the 21st century, and in fact, many centuries to come. By 2030, many of the applications, many of the knowledge that is there during the time will not have been taught to you yet, and you have to learn on your feet. You have to learn the flip way. That is number 6. And you know that this guy, remember this guy, the 17-year-old who turned down 8 million to keep his viral coronavirus track? German teenager whose passion for tracking the COVID-19, viral COVID-19, drive him day and night to learn on how to develop this website on his own. So he do it the flip way. Nobody coach him, and between the time of after a few months of COVID-19, his coronavirus tracker This ad-free tracker basically is actually one of the most popular in the world. In fact, people wanted to pay 8 million for advertisement using that because the whole world is watching his tracker. So basically, if you are there in the tracker site, basically, if your products are there in the tracker site, you will stand a lot, you will win a lot of customer, but he turned it down because he's just doing it out of passion and to help people across the world. So basically, this is actually one thing that can go a long way to making you very, very successful. And if you are passionate about helping people, learning through the flip way will go a long way to helping you achieve your goal and your dreams. Lifelong learning is super important, but if you take it too far, you may completely forget to have a life with the community. Okay, that is number 6. That was number 6, lifelong learning. Sometimes you spend too much time alone learning. Okay, but you forget. If you like, for example, this kid from Germany, he said that he spent 17 hours a day to learn and develop the tracker. Of course, 17 hours you learn and developing the tracker, you are not engaging anybody. So if you take lifelong learning too far, if you take your passion too far, you may completely forget to have a life with the people around you. Having a life is important for most people, but for some, they don't mind. But this is not what we're trying to inculcate in UTM. Those people who are lifelong learners, typically they are A students. They are passionate about getting perfect the things that they learn. But these A students sometimes work for C students. Okay, why? Because the C students are the students who can mobilize the A students to work for them. Because they know how to have the attributes of mobilizing people, of convincing people, communicating with people, and driving people and getting them to work with one another. So at number 5, after the lifelong learning attributes, you have the leadership and teamwork, collaboration, and synergy to lead and mobilize and influence team. If you have a strong purpose that you want to change the world, with that strong purpose, you alone cannot change the world. But you can actually lead and mobilize and influence the team to go along with your purpose to change the world. With more people, you would be in a better position to change the world. Of course, you have to do it with trust, with respect, and most importantly, with the responsibility towards the community. So leadership, teamwork, and collaboration, as well as synergy, is the next most important attributes of highly successful graduates. When we talk about towards zero graduate employment, we meant for you to work with the community, especially UTM community. Remember when I said prospering life, you have to help your community. You have to help the circle of influence around you. When you are successful, come back to UTM and be part of UTM network, because you won't believe the network of UTM spans across 80 countries throughout the world. And you can, even while helping UTM, you will help your company as well. For example, we have centers like iLeak with quadruple helix network with 2,367 institutions. UTM CC connected to 812 institutions. UTM Excite 700 institutions. And our global network of alumni is more than 30,000 companies, more than 30,000 companies, more than 300,000 alumni of UTM, but more than 30,000 companies will be your ultimate partner. So if you are part of UTM network, if you come back UTM, become traceable, prosper lives together, you will be a huge success and you can change the world. Trust me, you can change the world. With sharp focus, you will be able to change the world with us. So you can be part of UTM network of 1,000 global universities and institutions. What you need to do is the simple thing of filling the tracer study. Why we want to trace you, not just to get you employable, is because we want to enable you to be gainfully employed first. And then you will be able to prosper lives of your community, UTM community, and change the world together with UTM. So you have to register as alumni. Don't forget to fill in SKPG1 and SKPG2. Of course, you now graduate. You are now students of UTM, only first year, Dr. Prof. I know, but if I haven't told you now, the big purpose of filling all these forms, yeah, the bigger picture that is traced to changing the world, you won't see the importance from now. So you will have to design your pathway towards changing the world by connecting to UTM. So this is a UTM network. It's not something of a myth. This is actually a real life and a fact. Yeah. Now we are going to, if you have been able to mobilize, if you have a mindset to mobilize people, you have to communicate well with them. You have to convey ideas in verbal or in writing as well as in media, so that people will be convinced with you. One of the top complaints, one of the top concerns of industry is actually graduate cannot communicate. They are great at doing the job, doing the analysis. They are great at delivering the job on time. Yeah, they are great at solving problems using computer programming. They're great at that. They are great at developing products, but they cannot convince people that their product are great. Okay, so communication is one other vital aspects of you having great success as a graduate. And communication also involves great listening, good listening, negotiating with people, advocating, and marketing yourself as well, convincing others that you have the capability. One of the tools for you, not just about communicating verbally, talking to people, you can also be part of the global network and convincing people and influencing others that you have the talent for them to hire you and to work with your company, to work with yourself, to work with your team by using tools like, for example, LinkedIn. Join the societies under HEP, under PGSS, and enhance your professional skills and try to market your professional skill, be globally visible. Okay? Among other things that you will see later on, for us to guide you towards communicating your expertise, communicating your talent, is through drafting or designing video resume and video resume, online resume. So this is part of the programs that iLeague and HEP are working on to groom our students to have great communication skills. Communication, again, is actually using media, using all sorts of tools for you to be visible across the world. And you can also share your best practices. Don't be shy to talk, and don't be shy to share your best practices. Take every opportunity, for example, to share your expertise once you have the skills and expertise. Okay, that was number 3 or number 4. And at number 3, once you have all those skills, which is the skills prior to this, those we embed in our curriculum, and now the skills is actually number 2 and number 3. Number 3 is AD, adaptable. Number 2 is enterprising. So you will see that you are going to mingle with a lot of different or diverse talents and people across the world. People from 75 countries come to UTM, and we actually have concern that many of our students from overseas are not mingling with the students from local institute, from the local students. So basically, this is a loss. This is a sad story, because one of the things that you can learn tremendously, you can learn extensively through engagement with people from different culture is the skills to be adaptable, to adapt to new culture, to new community, yeah, so that you can initiate and appreciate the differences of this culture, and that will also help you to be innovative and adaptable and identify opportunities, new opportunities when you learn from other people. So it will allow you to be enterprising as well and work towards resilience. Okay, so these are the two other skills, adaptable and enterprising, will make you sellable, and your skills sellable, especially during the time where we have a lot of trials and turbulence and challenges. When you have challenges, it means that you have to be super resilient. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to take risks. Yes, there are so many uncertainties, so many complexities, ambiguities that you have to address in front of you. So this is an example where people who are enterprising, yeah, expect that they are going to have challenges, and the challenges sometimes can make them, for example, in this case, bankrupt. But one skill that they have that allow them to rise again rapidly, that differs them from other people, is the enterprising skills. And if you have heard or read this book by Robert T. Kiyosaki, yeah, who was interviewed by Oprah Winfrey once, who asked Robert Kiyosaki, can you guarantee that an enterprising person or an entrepreneur will stay on top once they make it big? Once they are very, very successful, can they just continue to be on top? What did Robert Kiyosaki say? What do you expect him to say? Kiyosaki says, no, I didn't expect them to stay on top all the while, he said, because what he experienced told him, you know, the hard way, that chances are they may fail at some point. He did fail catastrophically. He was a bankrupt. I remember when I listened to his tape, when he was super rich, he became super rich at a young age, when he was producing Velcro wallet at that time, he was saying, then he became super rich at that time. Yeah, he was shocked at the sudden wealth that he and his friends got, and they went on a shopping spree, buying Ferrari and all these things. Yeah, and basically, yeah, because of them not being wise to manage their wealth at that time, they failed catastrophically. And they, during the business, yeah, they failed to take few steps to protect their invention at that time. That will fail because they were fast tracked toward richness at that time. But they did learn, and what he said was, I can guarantee you that enterprising people like ourselves will relentlessly find way to be better. From the failures that we have, from the failures that we experience, we learn faster. When you fail fast, you learn fast. Other people might not have even the chance to go through the experience that you have been through, but you one step ahead because you fail and you learn. And you learn and you picked up. You picked up and always try to be better, because the bad experience will typically something that you cannot forget. And most likely, they will be more successful than ever. And he is not working now. He's just a billionaire, yeah, from the property market and all this. Basically, he didn't need to work except to coach people on how to be rich. So, what have we prepared for you to be enterprising, to be resilient, and to be life ready so that you can prosper lives? We have prepared you many important experiential learning programs that can transform, yeah, you as students, that can apply all the attributes that you have learned in the real life way when you have the opportunity to solve complex problems, not just solve problems like you do in exams or project assignment, where it just testing you the analytical skill, the remembrance skill, basically the descriptive skills, the simple skills, but it tests you the design thinking skill, it tests you the evaluation synthesis skills, yeah, and apply to real life and be concerned about the community being impacted by your decision. For example, it's not just make believe or theoretical, it is the real life impact that you will incur upon the community if you make some mistakes, yeah? So you can mobilize key stakeholders, work with the community, and prosper the life of people with your involvement and engagement with them. You can drive social change by improving quality of life. These are the things that, yeah, through experiential learning, learning by doing, and applying all the knowledge and the skills that you've gone through. So the community-minded, life-ready students are basically, yeah, learning. Yeah, we have prepared for you to learn through CCSL programs. For example, when you go through this program, I'm highlighting so that when you go through this program, you know that these are valuable, once in a lifetime experiences that you will go through. And if you don't take them seriously, you would have missed one of the most important lessons in life. Excel, extracurricular, experiential learning, UTM community lab, community case study, academic service learning, UTM grand challenges, super complex problem solving, yeah, embedded in faculty, capstone project, where all the attributes, all the hard skill and soft skill are intermingled together for you to solve with impact to the community. And these are many of the CCSL program and project that has been completed by our students across, yeah, the community in Johor, for example. And many of the projects completed by the students, UTM Grand Challenges project, as you can see there, they're too small for me to see. Even too small for me means that it will be too small for you, but actually it applies the knowledge, the hard skills that you learn in class, and the soft skills that you gather through many activities, extracurricular activities, and they mingle it together, combine, integrate, and allow you to work to prosper lives of people. So this is one of the programs and projects of Pulau Tanjung Surat, where our students engage the community, yeah, and to prosper the lives of people in Pulau Tanjung Surat, making it and transforming it into ecotourism island, yeah, ecotourism island. When it was once an island that has been basically left, yeah, basically without any development. After the students go there, basically the program, the CCSL program or the Sulam program, yeah, that involve students from transdisciplinary programs working together to transform the island into an ecotourism island. It actually transformed the life of the people. So this is a social entrepreneurship endeavor by our students, yeah, that is mobilizing all the policymakers as well as communities and institutions across Johor and across Malaysia. So UTM is actually the pioneer of this program of Pulau Tanjung's, Sulam program. You can also build practical experiences, okay, through industrial engagement. If you have the opportunity of engaging in structured industrial training program like 2U to I, you are lucky. So don't waste the opportunity. But if you haven't got the opportunity, you can still, yeah, work with your supervisors, work with your faculties, and design what we call as University Industry Innovation Exchange Program that we pioneered in Faculty of Engineering, where you can use your research project, 2 semesters of research project and 1 duration of industrial training, to integrate those programs together, projects and programs together into one long 1-year program of structured industrial training. Yeah, you see, 2-in-1 industrial training plus research project that solve company problem and engage you with the company for at least 1 year. So this is another program that has seen many hundreds of students working to solve industrial problem through industrial training as well as research project, 2 semesters of research project, and the student even get allowances, decent allowances for solving the project with their supervisors and industrial supervisors. All in all, you are engaged with the company for 1 year in a very immersive and empowering program of structured industrial training. And this will be testimony for you that you have a solved industrial problem for you to get a job in the future. And now we are getting to the one last, but not least, perhaps the most important, highly successful graduate attributes for universal well-being and prosperity. We know that we live in a world full of crises. We have shown you about environmental disasters. We have shared with you climate change. You have read across many media about natural catastrophe. And you may have heard about a revolution of artificial intelligence is threatening, is perhaps threatening the Third World War in the future. So one of the most important, perhaps without these attributes, the rest of the attributes does not matter. Who said that? Warren Buffett said that if we do not have these single attributes, the rest of the 6 attributes or the rest of 21st century attributes does not really matter. Just don't bother about having them. These attributes is actually the ethics, integrity, as well as empathy, which actually impacts social, economy, environment, and the global world. Being a global citizen. This is attribute number 1. This is the top attributes of UTM highly successful graduates. The global citizen, which are at the core of the global citizenship, ethics, and integrity. It is actually at the core of UTM ISIS. ISIS core values. Integrity is number 1. So ethics and integrity. Why? If not for ethics and integrity, if not for caring for the implication of the impact that you have done, that you have caused to the global world, to the environment, to the economy, you will be not surprised. You will not surprised to see what have happened to the whole world over the past 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years, when we saw that, for example, people plundering and pillaging the farms and the areas in Borneo, for example, burning them just because they will have to have fast a solution and not thinking about the community, the impact on the environment. Then you are going to wreak havoc across the world. Typically, the implication of lack of ethics, lack of integrity, lack of empathy is massive and epic size. Because of lack of integrity, typically, the problem due to graduates of people, educated people doesn't have this integrity and ethics, causing problem of epic proportion, massive proportion, enormous proportion, big proportion, monumental. They're not small, the problem that they cause. Like, for example, the oldest rainforest in the world was burned to the ground. This area was bigger than Amazon, was on fire about 3 years ago. And it's not surprising that it is done and caused by people who are irresponsible, who are unethical, who don't, at least did not have the community, society, and the global world in mind. And human is the cause of 95% of wildfire. It's not the weather, but actually the human being. In the Quran, it says that corruption has appeared throughout the world because of people. It is a testimony that the 95% or the overwhelming majority of havoc of the corruption in the world is because of people. Okay, and artificial intelligence arms race, we hope and pray that this will not happen. But if it's happened, it's going to be catastrophic, as has been predicted by many, including the Elon Musk himself. That basically World War III will be sparked if there is an AI arms race. So, the world is full of crises. In the Quran it says, He who created death and life, He who has created death and life, that He may test you, which of you is best in deeds. Basically, this test, this crisis will happen all the time. Since the time of Adam, since the time of Nabi Adam, basically the crisis happens because of people. The time of Nabi Adam until now, that the crisis will continue to happen because God will need to know who among us will be the one that will save humankind from all this philandering or pillaging and all this death and destruction. Okay, so that He may tell you the crisis will continue to happen. You cannot expect a time when there is no crisis. COVID-19 is a crisis. COVID-19 is like a wake-up call, a big wake-up call for us to live sustainably, to be responsible, to take care of ethics as well as integrity, to be a global citizen. So roots or epic of the crisis is actually integrity itself, or lack of integrity, or crisis of integrity. For example, I've mentioned to you earlier about this crisis that we are facing now. This was something that has been happening across the world as well, not just within UTM. And this is life. When we have this crisis, we at UTM take swift measures to address it head on. It is easy to forget about it because to sweep in under the carpet because the size of the problem is so overwhelming that we might not be able to address it. But we were not afraid. We know that the significant majority of our students are not involved. So basically, we trace to the root of the issue, the root of the problem. We communicated with all these platforms and persuaded them to give us the evidence, which is so unexpected by so many people. Even other institutions, UA across Malaysia, did not do that yet. Had not had time to think about it. In the beginning, we thought that the size and number of students that might be involved, like 6,000 or 7,000 students, because, like for example, if you take SPM, Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia examinations, if one student is involved, if one question is leaked, the whole Malaysia for that subject will have to resit the exam. That is the implication of a leak exam. That is the implication. But we did not go through that route. We trace the real culprit. We are not going to penalize the whole student, even though we have to hold on the result, but we are determined to find those who are actually guilty about it. But we want it to be a lesson to those who are guilty. We do not want to penalize anybody because they have made a mistake. You want it to be a lesson to them, and they cannot be scot-free as well because of the seriousness of ethics and integrity, lacking of ethics and integrity to the impact of the world, to impact of life, impact on the global citizenship. So Georgia Tech, for example, one student that they will have an F, because we know that you may have success, you may have all the skills, you may lose at one time, you may be bankrupt at one time, but you need to pick up. But the thing that is forever is integrity. There is a quotation that nothing else matters without integrity, and without integrity, nothing else matters. With integrity, nothing else will matter as well. So the road to success is actually paved with UTM core value number 1, which is integrity, that entails respect of other people's opinion, taking responsibility to solve a problem, even if you are number 1 in your organization, trust of others, fairness. When people make mistake, we give them fair judgment. We don't overjudge people. Basically, if they are not guilty, then basically we we don't mistreat them, and it also entails honesty. These are the things that you brought to success. So Allah says in the Quran, "O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female and made you people and tribes so that you know one." Indeed, the most noble in the sight of Allah amongst people is the one with highest integrity, highest honesty, which is doing the right thing even though people are not watching you. If people are watching you, it's easy to do the right thing. But if people are not watching you, you are also doing the right thing. You are make sure that you do exam because you want to ensure that you have learned the right material, you have learned the lesson. You do not want to cheat, even though you have the opportunity to do so, because in the end, it will not only be a loss to you, it will be a loss to the community as well. Because basically, you want to do the right thing even though nobody is watching you. So this is the most righteous people. This is the one with highest integrity. Okay, this is the one that will be most successful. And with this character of integrity, you actually completes the puzzle of UTM 7 highly success attribute. Because we know that if you want to destroy a nation, it does not require use of nuclear bombs. It does not require use of atomic bombs on long-range missile. It only requires lowering the quality of education, allowing cheating in examination, and allowing people to copy and claim that that is their work. For postgraduate plagiarism. Because why? The impact is on other people. If you are a doctor, a patient will die in your hands. If you are a civil engineer, building will collapse because of engineers who cheated and not being able to master whatever they're supposed to master during their education. If you are an accountant or economist, if people out there who cheated are accountant, economists, will see a lot of money being lost, corruption being widespread. If you are a judge, justice will be lost. Humanity will die in such hands of religious scholars. The collapse of education is the collapse of nation. This is actually what Nelson Mandela said, and it was inscripted in the gate of South Africa University. So this is actually the technology. Even Steve Jobs mentioned that.
So I've said this before, I thought it was worth repeating. It's in Apple's DNA that technology alone is not enough. That it's technology married with liberal arts, married with the humanities, that yields us the result that makes our hearts sing. So I've said this before, that technology alone is not enough. That it's technology married with liberal arts, married with the humanities, that yields us the result that makes our hearts sing.
So back in 2020, when universities like Harvard, Columbia, and NTU recommended that students get either pass or fail or A for all grades, we resisted. I wrote this article that was shared across 11,000 people and shared many times that if we take the shortcut like those top universities across the world, because we know that the top universities, chances are those who go to their colleges, the staff who teach the students are top people as well. Whether or not you teach them, these top students are going to get it right, going to get an A, going to get a pass. You know it without you even teaching them. because these are the cream of the cream. But we cannot just copy and paste what they do in Harvard, what they do in Columbia U, what they do in NTU, back in UTM, because our students are just not, yeah. Of course, the majority are not Harvard student or Columbia student or NTU students. We need to educate them. We need to remove all the shortcut pathway and do our all to educate our students, to take the opportunity, because if you give pass and fail, what is there a motivation to learn? Automatic A, do you need to learn? Do you need to submit your assignment? Do you need to pass or fail? You need to actually strive, yeah, to study. You don't need to. Yeah, you don't even need to. But if you don't study, it means that you are going to lost 1 year of your education because of this pass and fail issue. So it challenged me to write this down, that I said that I had a nightmare to jump and copy and paste these people, but I thought that this is not the way to do for Malaysia. Maybe for universities like Harvard, MIT, Columbia U, because they have different type of students, but not for Malaysia. So this is life. We are going to address the problem head on. We are going to address and ask our students and staff, make them ready through academic and experiential learning. We are not going to go through the shortcut like other universities. We are going to inculcate graduates who prosper life, who embody wisdom, humanity, and have the entrepreneurial qualities, who are driven to prosper lives. So this is the life-ready graduates. And if you know that leaders and entrepreneurial people with ethics and integrity, even with a challenge as mammoth or significant as COVID-19, they managed to overcome these challenges and save the 5 million population of New Zealand. This is the highest example of a leader with ethics and integrity and with the people at heart, and to save the people. And as a result, they recorded 1 year, one straight year without infection of COVID-19. And this was recorded in, very recently, even with a challenge as big and as massive as COVID-19. So a great leader has brains, vision, they have the hard skill, the soft skill, but most of all, they have attributes number 1 of UTM, ISA's number 1 attribute of UTM, which is integrity. Yeah. To sum it up, there are 7 UTM attributes. The top of the table is actually integrity under global citizen. And then you have entrepreneurial skills that make you resilient, make you a risk taker. You have adaptability, that you will have to rise above occasion. You'll be able to communicate with many types of community, diverse group of people with your team and mobilize them. You have teamwork and communication. Take responsibility to protect your team. You are a voracious learner, and you can handle complex problems. These are the 7 great attributes of highly successful UTM graduates. So for your journey to prosper life, I think I have shown this before. We can share these slides with you and with educators of this class. These are some examples of the things that you are going to go through across the years that you are there in UTM, and don't waste any of the time that you are there, and strive to learn and learn with all the attributes that we have advised you on, the 7 attributes of UTM. All these activities conducted by iLeague and HEP has significant and far-reaching impacts on our students, making them community-minded, life-ready, and socially conscious. They actually groom our graduates to have intensely driven in them the 7 attributes of UTM students, UTM graduates. Discover the talents, develop the passion, and prosper lives of community and society while you even in UTM. So when you get the attributes, when it becomes part of your second nature, it will be easier for you to go out there in the real life and change the world. Yeah. So thank you for your attention. I think I've taken quite some time. I've even covered this one. So basically, we have done the reality check. We have covered the attributes of 7 attributes of highly successful graduates. We have taken you to the journey of the 4 years that you'll be in UTM, maybe even 7 to 10 years, 4 years, 5 years, and even 8 years if you are going all the way to PhD. And we have shown you the high five of prospering life together with UTM. With this, I thank you very much for your attention. This is one of the synergy picture that is my favorite, and also one of my favorite leaders here, the current leaders as well as the previous Vice Chancellor number 6, Prof. Wahid Omar. I think he's one of the audience out there, a humble person, one of my model, one person I model after. And thank you very much for all your sharing and all your kindness that I have learned from. And thank you to all our audience there, our students who are watching and still listening. Thank you. I'll be prepared to take any questions if you have any. I know that time is already limited. I may overshoot the time. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Professor Zain, and it was very, very good and fruitful information that he's just shared. Because of the time limit, I will be able to take only 2 questions. Can we see? Okay, the first question. Can I improve my soft skills, especially leadership and communication, by learning from my previous experience, even though some of them were set in my childhood and my secondary school? Please, Prof.
Yeah, well, obviously, you would be better off to practice the soft skill, and leadership skill in particular that you're mentioning. We actually one of the process that we go through when selecting the students is also to look at their previous engagement and involvement in extracurricular activities, and these are the kind of students that we would like to nurture further into among our leaders, among the students. So these are the things that you can do, to extend further your talents by participating in many activities that is provided under the Hal Ehwal Pelajar, the student affairs. There are many societies out there that you can join along the line of your passion. In UTM, we also have the 5-track excellence. One of the 5-track excellence under HEP, Hal Ehwal Pelajar, is actually leadership. Leadership, of course, the communication falls under leadership. Leadership is actually one of the 5-track excellence. It means that you are in the right place, right track if you choose leadership track, the 5 ETP excellence track program. You can unleash.
All right, thank you very much. So for the second question is, as first year students, what should we be focusing on to prepare ourselves for future jobs, hunts, and interviews so that we have a better chance to be employed, and how?
Yeah, I think the whole lecture is actually answering your question. The entire lecture. You need to have the hard and soft skills. The hard skills, if I were to put it in a succinct or in a brief way, you want to strive to be a H type of student so that you will be towering above the rest of other students. If possible, you strive to be an H type of student. H is like that, H. It means that you have 2 types of hard skills. One, if you are, for example, taking a major in engineering, engineering is one of your hard skills. You have a certificate, you have a qualification. And then another type of hard skill, for example, if you have another language, the 3rd language, or if you have a certification program, health and safety and environment, for example, certification program, which out of 100 students, you will be quite sure that only 10% or less would have these two hard skills. And on top of that, you have the 7 attributes, and you have to master the 7 attributes of UTM graduates to all the programs that I've shared with you, especially those involving the community, the transformative program that you can have. So it will turn you into each type of students with a broad-based skills, soft skills, and 2 towering skill, which is the hard skills.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much for the answer, Prof. I think because of the time, we have to sadly close the session. And for those questions who have not been answered, I would like you to have your questions straight away to your lecturers in your class. And I would like to thank everybody who attend and spend your time here for this session, and the iLeague as the organizer, and Prof. Zain itself for
Thank you.
his time.
Pleasure.
Yes. And I think if we don't have any other question, any more question, because we lead the question to your own lecture because we already have time limit. Thank you very much for every knowledge you have, everything, every sharing you just had. And I would like to close this session with thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Norina, for moderating.